Welcome to Section 6. Section 6 is all about test preparation. It has been divided up into 3 lessons. The first lesson that we're going to be dealing with now is all about memorization skills. When students come to me and tell me that they don't understand why their marks aren't higher, they tell me that they're learning, they're putting in the effort, but they're just finding when their tests come back that the marks are still low, or their marks aren't where they actually want them to be. So in other words, the marks are not reflective of the amount of time that they're putting into studying. And when this happens, you can start feeling very down about yourself. I've had students say to me, I must be stupid. There has got to be something wrong with me. How can I put in so many hours and get such bad marks? It has nothing to do with stupidity. If you're putting in the hours and your marks are still not where you want them to be, it could very well be with the way that you are preparing for tests, and it could also be the way that you are trying to memorize your work. The brain is a very complex organ, and the thing with the brain is that it doesn't like to retain information it doesn't see as important. So the way that you memorize your work, you actually need to trick your brain into keeping that information and remembering that information. And that is why we use memorization techniques. And today, we're going to be taking a look at 3 main memorization techniques today, mainly mnemonics, and then we're going to be taking a look at note organization, and we are also going to be taking a look at something called visualization. So let's go back to the mnemonics. Mnemonics is a very common way of learning lists of things, or if you've got a bunch of facts that you need to get into your head. Try them out and you will notice at the bottom of each mnemonic it says, did it work for you? Tick yes or tick no. If you tick yes, then you know that that is a mnemonic that you should be using when you're learning for tests. If you tick no, discard it. Not everyone works for every person. So we're going to take a look at 3 different mnemonics. The first one being your word mnemonic. Very famous word mnemonic is brackets of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction, BODMAS, in order to learn the order of operations. If you're from America, you will probably more know it as PEMDAS. Alright, we've also got something called expression mnemonics, and that is when you take all the letters of the first name of whatever list that you are trying to learn and create an expression of it. So an example of that is Roy G. Biv, and that is to try and remember the order that the colors of the rainbow come in, namely red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Then we get to the model mnemonics. Model mnemonics are great, especially if you're trying to learn something that goes from one stage to another. So a very simple example of this is if you're looking at the 3 stages of matter and what happens if you heat water. It would then go from a solid to a liquid to a gas. And in that instant, model mnemonics are really great to use. So guys, take a look as well as at your music mnemonics. That really works for people that are auditory. If you love music, music mnemonics is going to be the one for you. Spelling mnemonics helps with the learning of difficult spelling words. And then we've got connection mnemonics, and that is about trying to make a connection of something unknown to something that is known. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at note organization as a memorization technique. My favorite way of learning, flashcards. And you'll know that I've mentioned them quite often, especially when we did the summarizing. Flashcards are a great way of learning. So the way you create your flashcard is to put the question on the front and you pop your answer on the back. And why I love this way of learning is that firstly, it breaks your information up into bite-sized pieces. Secondly, it continues to monitor what you know and what you don't know. If you take a look at the question on the front and you can answer it, obviously you know the answer. If you need to take a look at the answer, then you know, okay, this is something that I still need to learn. Flashcards are also great because you can use it whenever you're on the go. On the way home, stuck in traffic, not a waste of time. Haul out your flashcards and just go over them in the car to refresh memory, so you can really use them wherever, whenever. Then if you're quite artistic, or if you love symbols, if symbols help you to learn, you can also use what we call the image flashcards. They work the same way, except you draw a picture. Question on the front, at the back you draw a picture of your answer. The picture can be in combination with words as well, so use that if you love to draw. Don't have to be particularly good at it, but if you love drawing and if your brain tends to remember images well, then image flashcards are great for you. The last memorization technique that we're going to have a quick squiz at is visualization. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is your journey system. Now your journey system is about visualizing a route that you know really well. So it can be on your way to school, to your best friend's house. And what you do is you attach information to the route as you go along. So for example, you're driving along and you picture yourself coming to the first stop street at the bottom of your road. You stare at the stop street and you picture that stop street turning into a tin can with the letters S or N on it, and that is your chemical symbol for tin. And so that is your association. Stop sign, I know it's not particularly made out of tin, but it sort of looks like it. Stop sign, S, SN, tin, and you start making those type of associations. You then close your eyes and you picture yourself driving the route with all this new information attached to the things that you know on the route. The second visualization technique is quite similar. It's called associative visualization. Instead of a route, you take objects that you know really well. So you can picture, for example, your bedroom. And in your bedroom, you've got a lamp. And you picture that lamp being turned on, but instead of light streaming out of the lamp, out comes World War II, 1939 to 1945. So the dates that World War II was fought. And once again, what your brain does, it helps it to attach old or unknown information to known information. So when you can picture it in a test, your brain goes, oh yes, I know that lamp really well. Oh, what was the information attached to it? Students that I've worked with that aren't very good at visualizing, what they did instead, it worked really well for them, is they actually made flashcards. So they would have put World War II, 1939 to 1945, actually written on a flashcard and stuck it onto their lamp, or some information on the door. They said it was really easy that when they were in a test, they could close their eyes, they pictured the cupboard door, and on the cupboard door they could see the information that they needed. So that might be something that you want to try and see if it works for you. So guys, like with everything, with the memorization techniques, take a look through and see what works for you. Not everything is going to work for you. Take a look, sometimes a little bit of trial and error. See exactly which method is the method that helps your brain to retain information, and then hold on to that method and use it. I will see you in the next lesson.